Welcome to Movie Reviews YT. Today we're diving into one of the creepiest horror thrillers of 2025, Stephen King's The Monkey. A cursed toy, a haunting past, and deaths that seem too bizarre to be coincidence. This movie blends supernatural terror with emotional trauma in a way that only King can deliver. A drumming monkey that brings death with every beat? Sounds innocent until it's not. From shocking deaths to twisted family secrets, this movie will make you think twice before trusting childhood toys. So grab your popcorn, keep the lights on, and let's break down the chilling story of The Monkey, 2025 scene by scene. Let's go! The film begins in the year 1999, where we see Pete Shelburne attempting to return and destroy a drum-playing toy monkey at an antique shop. However, the shop owner firmly tells him that returns are not accepted. Before Pete can explain that the monkey is a bad omen, the toy suddenly starts playing its drums. What follows is a deadly chain reaction. A harpoon gun hanging in the shop fires off and strikes the shop owner in the stomach. At first, it seems like nothing serious has happened, but just a few seconds later, as the harpoon is pulled back out, it gruesomely drags the man's intestines along with it. The scene cuts, and we learn that after this horrifying incident, Pete has disappeared from the picture. Now we're introduced to his twin sons, Hal and Bill, who are being raised by their mother, Louie. One day they stumble upon the same cursed monkey toy in their attic. Although the boys mess around with it a little, Bill brushes it off as nonsense and they all go back to their usual routines. Their mother, Louie, then leaves them with a babysitter named Annie and heads to work. That same evening during dinner, the monkey left in the car starts beating its drum again. At the exact same time, in a hibachi restaurant, Annie is shockingly decapitated. The entire restaurant is left in utter shock. Later we see her funeral, where even her stitched-up head leaves the twins disturbed. To calm things down, Louie tries to reassure the boys, teaching them that death is a part of life. To lighten the mood, she dances with them when they return home. We also see that Hal is constantly bullied at school, and even his own brother Bill doesn't leave him alone. This constant torment drives Hal to wind up the monkey, hoping it might take revenge on his brother. But instead, in a tragic twist, their mother suddenly collapses in front of Bill due to a brain aneurysm. Blood pours from her eyes, ears, and head, leaving Bill in shock. Hal, now consumed with guilt, finds it impossible to overcome the trauma. After the funeral, Hal becomes mentally disturbed by the monkey. He eventually disposes of it completely. Following this, he moves to Maine to live with his aunt and uncle, along with his brother Bill. But then, mysteriously, the same monkey reappears in their new home. Seeing this, Bill becomes furious, assuming Hal brought it along intentionally. Hal assures him that he had completely destroyed the monkey and insists that the toy is the reason behind all the deaths. To test the monkey's powers, Bill decides to wind it up again, despite Hal's reluctance. As soon as he does, we see their Uncle Jeff get crushed in a freak accident involving a horse, resulting in an instant death. Terrified, the twins pack the monkey into a box and throw it into a nearby well, hoping it will stay hidden forever. But things don't go as planned. Fast forward 25 years, and we see that Hal and Bill have drifted apart, now living separate lives with no contact. Hal has a son named Pete, or PT, whom he sees only once a year. His fear of the monkey's return has kept him distant from his child, worried that being too close could endanger him. When Hal goes to visit Pete again, his ex-wife and her new husband, Ted, inform him that they are planning to adopt Pete. This news hits Hal hard, as it would mean he might never get to see his son again. Though unhappy with the situation, Hal realizes he's powerless to change it. Meanwhile, we see Hal's Aunt Edie beginning to suspect there's someone or something inside her house. While investigating, she suffers a fatal accident. Her shocking death is no coincidence. It's once again caused by the same cursed monkey, which has mysteriously returned after 25 years. Bill calls Hal to inform him of Edie's death and tells him they need to go to the house to collect her belongings. Hal refuses at first, but Bill insists, especially because he believes the monkey has returned. According to Bill, someone must have wound it up again, And that's what triggered this new wave of strange and deadly incidents. Hal remains skeptical until he experiences something horrifying firsthand, right in front of his eyes at a motel pool. Due to an electrocution accident, Hal witnesses a woman explode right in front of his eyes. Traumatized by the incident, he decides to send his son, Pete PT, back to his mother. But Pete insists on staying with his father, even though Hal is clearly frightened and hesitant. Reluctantly, Hal brings PT along to his aunt's old house. There they meet a real estate agent named Barb, who informs Hal that ever since Edie's death, a series of strange and mysterious deaths have started occurring in Maine. While checking out the house, they come across a locked room. Hal warns Barb not to open the door, but she ignores him and does it anyway. As soon as the door opens, a shotgun trap goes off, blasting Barb to death. But that's not all. Hal and Pete also discover that Bill is currently living in the same town, and he is the one who has been winding up the monkey again and again. We also learn that Bill had hired a man named Ricky to locate the monkey. Although Ricky does manage to find it, he becomes disturbingly obsessed with the toy. Driven by his fixation, Ricky eventually goes back to Bill, not to return the monkey, but to reclaim it for himself. Unfortunately, Bill refuses to give the monkey to Ricky, which pushes Ricky to make a decision. No matter what, he will get that monkey for himself. Meanwhile, we learn that Bill has long suspected that their mother's death was caused by Hal, specifically because Hal had wound up the monkey in an attempt to kill Bill. But instead, it was their mother who ended up dying. Since then, Bill spent years waiting for the monkey to return. The well where they once threw the monkey didn't contain the toy anymore, but the winding key was still there. Bill kept that key with him, and eventually, thanks to Ricky, he got the monkey back. Since then, Bill has been winding it again and again, and strange, gruesome deaths have been happening all over town. Hal begins to suspect Bill is behind all of this, and Bill eventually confirms it. He tells Hal that if he sends PT over to him, he will ensure the boy's safety, because the person who winds the monkey stays safe. It's the people around them who die. So Hal has a choice: send PT to him or risk the monkey being wound again and again, possibly leading to PT's death as well. Bill doesn't care how many people die, he just wants control. Hal refuses to send PT to Bill, but Ricky, who's now completely obsessed with the monkey, shows up at Hal's motel and forces Hal and PT at gunpoint to come with him to Bill's house so he can retrieve the monkey with PT's help. Although PT doesn't want to help, he's forced to listen. But Hal had already warned his son, no matter what happens, do not wind the key. However, seeing his uncle and hearing his words, PT gives in and winds the monkey. This results in Ricky's immediate death when a swarm of metallic shards impale his body. Now Hal has no choice but to confront his brother. He enters Bill's home, where Bill is still trying to convince PT to keep winding the monkey so Hal would die next. But PT refuses and pushes Bill away. Bill becomes so obsessed with the monkey that he tries to force Hal's hand into the monkey's key slot, attempting to make him wind it manually, even though no one had wound it this time, and yet the monkey had already started playing its drum uncontrollably. The monkey begins playing its drum one last time, causing massive destruction throughout the entire town. Almost everyone in town dies in this horrific chaos, and finally Bill gives up. The twin brothers Bill and Hal have an emotional conversation. Through this, Bill finally finds closure, realizing that Hal wasn't responsible for their mother's death. Hal had no idea whether the monkey was actually causing all those deaths. Bill apologizes and Hal asks him to come with them. But at that very moment, the monkey plays one last drum beat, and out of nowhere, a bowling ball named Louie falls from above and decapitates Bill. It's the same bowling ball Hal once tried to use as a kid to kill his brother. After this shocking death, Hal and PT look out at the devastated town. They accept their fate and also accept ownership of the monkey, making a promise: they will never wind the key again. While walking away, they encounter a black-eyed man on horseback, a haunting figure clearly meant to symbolize death, who has come to collect the souls of everyone in town. To reconnect with his son, just like his own mother once did, Hal suggests they dance. PT, still shaken, finally agrees. In this bittersweet moment, the two share a tender dance. And that's where The Monkey 2025 comes to a close. If you found this recap thrilling and intense, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and ring the bell for more spine-chilling movie breakdowns every week. Got thoughts on the movie? Did that ending catch you off guard? Drop your theories, reactions, or favorite moments in the comments below. I love reading them. Until next time, this is Movie Stock, Movie Explain, signing off with more stories from the shadows. Stay safe, stay curious, and keep watching great movies. See you in the next one. Bye.